All right, guys, welcome Argent Alpha Unscripted with Clint Murray and Brock Harling, February 3rd,
Third.
2026.
Yep.
How you guys doing today?
Great.
If we would have recorded about a half hour earlier, we would have saw Brock's huge plate of protein. How many calories do you think were in that bowl if you had to guess?
Oh, easy 1,000.
Easy thousand.
It's
Nice.
for sure, I don't know, 80 to 100 grams of protein there. What you think, Clint?
Yeah, what'd you have? What was it? I couldn't tell what it was.
Oh my gosh, I'm actually full, which very rarely happens. It was a whole bunch of chicken, 4 eggs, and then some mozzarella cheese. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that
Mhm.
cheese is the win.
Some
Love it.
fresh matzah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, hey, today we're going to talk about a topic near and dear to my heart. I'm going to share my screen real quick. We're going to talk about Argent Alpha Live, but we're going to dive into the training we're doing. Right now, I'm sharing my screen. I'm showing you School, which is the platform we use. And we'll be adding modules each week as we build towards our Live 6 event in Scottsdale, April 24th through the 26th. And so, I don't know if you guys can see in the small window, but this book we're using by Steve Siebold, 177 Mental Toughness Secrets of the World Class. The thoughts, processes, habits, and philosophies of the great ones. That's the book we're using to inform our training because really is all about mental toughness. And so I'm going to, in week one, we cover 3 secrets, and I'm going to cover those here in a second. But before we dive into that training, you guys are two of the few, you two, me, Judge. I think I've been to every live event, 5 of them so far. If there's anybody else I'm missing, message me and let me know. I'll do something on it. But just for anybody listening, just give kind of an overview of what the live events mean to you guys, because I think it's one of those things. Until you experience it, you really don't know. The best thing we can do is share our experiences. But and I'm biased, so Clint, what's been your experience or thoughts?
But, you know, it's a date on the calendar. That's a big thing. And we talk about the big ass calendar every year and planning out our year. And for me, it's twice a year. It's already a date on the calendar. It's an event. It's every one of them have been life memories, close to life changing moments and events that happen. Um, that's the broad spectrum. On the training spectrum, it's a target for me, and I look forward to it every year. And so, right now, what are we, 12 weeks out or something like that? So, I've got a training mission now to be prepped and ready for that. So, it's the compass for the year, at least those 2 dates for that portion.
Yep. How about you, Brock?
I mean, as an online community, this gives more of that in-person feel. It's like the 2 times a year for sure that everyone could kind of be together, everyone who comes. So like that part of it is the best. But I think it was the second live event down in Arizona. Dan Zeman talked about, training and peaking. He trained Greg LeMond, the Tour de France champion, to peak twice a year. And I think that the physical training component of it, the event piece of this is like these are 2 times to peak, where everyone could kind of be training, doing the same thing, and do your best, because we always have something that challenges you both physically and mentally, and this year's is going to be that as well. So it's like it's that piece of it. And then Jake, you've always done a great job at bringing in, not something that's like out of our normal swing path or normal training, that just allows us to learn something new or to experience something different, in the shape of overall health and well-being. And this year's just, I know some of the behind the scenes stuff is just going to be excellent. I can't wait.
Hey,
Hey, something that came to mind real quick. I just want to
yeah,
mention,
go ahead.
Brock reminding me of it. It's something that we train for each part of the year. I'm hearing a lot of guys yesterday on the rad meeting too. They were talking about stacking different events up around that time, like because they're going to be in peak condition. Some guys, last year, some of the guys right after went on the
Grand
Grand Canyon
Canyon.
hike. Yeah, some of the guys were talking about doing something before or after too, just because they were going to be prepared. So it's kind of cool to see.
Yeah, you're right. It's funny. And that I want to circle back, Brock, when you talked about Dan Zeman and training cycles. to me, that was like, I know it's kind of embedded. Some people call it periodization. And if you're in an actual team environment, or you're in a sport professionally, that's all built in. But for men over 50, typically we're out of that. We don't have that. And I know I didn't have that. And now having training cycles, so picture it as off season, preseason, regular season, postseason, and they tend to be different time frames. Postseason is going to be short. That's that peaking period. For us, it'll be April 24th to 26th. That'll be followed by an off season of recovery for about a month. Then we enter in preseason again, and we get right back at it to peak in early October, and we'll follow the same thing. And I think having that, one, is a missing link for almost every guy over 50 who's training on their own. One, they're probably not training. They're working out, maybe, or doing nothing. So this just changes the game. And then when you put a date on the calendar, talk about bringing in focus and making all the things unnecessary or that get in your way for that event, they just start falling by the wayside. I mean, thinking about people who run marathons. They have their 3 mile runs or 6 mile. They end up peaking at around an 18 or 19 mile run. They take a week to just kind of like recover, and then they're race ready. I mean, it's a similar kind of concept.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody would train that way if they didn't have a date on the calendar to go to, like grandma's up in Duluth, or Judge did the one down here in Phoenix or Boston or whatever you're doing. So we're stealing from that because it's a tried and true method. Let's talk a little bit about, I look at it as 3 pieces of our training. We've got the 12-week training program in our training app that Brock and Nolan are programming. So that's one thing that's going to get guys there physically. We've got our mental training in school with a weekly module that gets guys focused on 3 principles each week. And we'll go into those in a second. And then we have what's called the Wicked Wednesday workout, which is kind of our on-track, off-track physical event. So if you decide to train on your own, you can do that at Argent Alpha. But when you do these Wicked Wednesday workouts, they give you feedback if you're on track or off track with your training. And Brock, you came up with some crazy ones over the last couple of years. Words like odd object, and talk a little bit about the thinking behind the Wicked Wednesday workouts.
I mean, most of it is just I like the training concept just in general of once a week having something that you push for, or it's just like, okay, I know that I got to kind of rebuild my calendar around Wednesdays, or we release it on Wednesdays. You actually have until the following Tuesday to do it. So anywhere in there, it's not just only on Wednesdays, but we release it on Wednesdays. But you could build into your calendar that time that you're going to really push it for that once a week. And really, the piece of it that we've really leaned into, especially in the last, 3 or 4 of these training seasons, has been the mindset component of it, right? So like, we know that the event itself is going to push us mentally, right? So we try to get people, to experience something a little bit more out of their comfort zone, than what they know. Okay, I normally do back squats and pull-ups and push-ups and dips and all that. Well, this is going to be, hey, you're going to pick an odd object between 20 and 30 pounds. You're going to carry this along with a rucksack on your back, and then you're going to be doing maybe some sort of like some movements. There's going to be, set a timer every 10 minutes. You're going to do 10 push-ups, 20 squats with your odd object, with your rucksack, or you're going to bear walk up a hill, or you're going to backwards walk up a hill, or you're going to have more of a we have 4 different modalities that we train in, throughout the 12 weeks. An odd object, you're going to see a couple of those. You're going to see some longer time domains, which are 90 to 120 minutes. It might be like, hey, in one day, plan out an hour in the morning, plan out an hour later in the day, where you're going to do 2 different workouts, or one's going to be really, really condensed, maybe like 15, 20 minutes, where you're just really putting the throttle down. I mean, there's just like, we try to get people ready for all different scenarios that they could see. And just like, we know what the end goal is, what the event is, and what we're doing. And so we're just building people up so that they could peak at that time.
Yeah. And the other thing too, is I think it teaches us to get comfortable being uncomfortable. And that, because I still remember doing, Jackie and I were in Healdsburg during the summer, and I had on a weight vest, 20-pound weight vest, and I had to do the Wicked Wednesday workout. And it was find an odd object. So I was under a bridge, and I found a piece of concrete, pulled it up. There's like worms and insects, and it's like,
oh, even better,
dust it off. and I had to guesstimate what I think your range was like, I don't know, 10 to 15 pounds or something like that. And then it was walk, I can't remember, it was 3 miles. And then every 10 minutes, it was air squats. I don't know if it was just squats or air squats or if there were burpees mixed in. And I just remember it was like, it wasn't like my heart rate was through the roof. It was just annoying. It was like, it was 3 miles of trudging. It was probably 85 degrees that day, I remember. And it was just, but when you do that and you're done, you just go, yep, check the box, did it. Clint, I don't know what I mean, you've done a bunch of sand beach workouts. I don't know if you did
Yeah.
any of the Wicked Wednesday workouts at the beach or not, just to change
Never
your,
at the beach.
no?
No.
Okay.
I remember the specific one you're talking about with that because that was a couple years ago, I think.
Yeah.
Odd object. We were in Colorado. And we went hiking up an elevation, and I had to find, I found something, a rock or something, and I can just remember having to switch. Ah, it's killing my shoulder. You know what I mean? It just like
Oh,
it
good.
was
It had the desired effect there. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Like it was, you just had to deal with it, So
What I love about it is it's the sterility of a gym. It's like here's an object manufactured for a specific thing.
yeah,
An odd object is like a thing in nature, and you got to have unilateral strength. You've got to keep your back straight, and you got 20 pounds pulling you over to the side, so it's kind of like a suitcase carry. Um,
yeah.
so I love the real life application of this stuff. Well, hey, let's talk real quick. Secret number one from Steven Siebold: operating from objective reality. So this is about kind of letting go of your ego, separating facts from truth. And we can talk about the difference between those two in a second. But Brock, when you think about operating from objective reality, um, you train a lot of our guys. Uh, what are you seeing when it comes to like guys dealing with the truth? Whether it's they feel like they need to go heavy and compromise form, or they're ignoring certain things and over indexing on one element, maybe of the Alpha 5. But talk a little bit about your perspective of what you see guys in terms of how they operate and are they dealing with objective reality?
I think as part of our ego and males, they're really closely related, right? I see that all the time. It's really, really hard for like when guys come in for the first time and they're either by themselves with just me or they're with a group of guys. They don't want to look like a fool or they don't want to look lesser than or anything like that. So ego is, pretty dang high. And then once they get, I try to give them an environment where we're here to move really, really well. I don't really care how much weight you move. I want you to move well. And if you can move well, then we're going to be able to, up the weight. So what does that mean, moving well? It's, making sure that guys have full range of motion or working towards that. So, like equal level playing field is getting guys on that orb ball or doing something really, really uncomfortable mobility wise that most of them have never done or very rarely have done, and they all need, so it's like, okay, this is a level setter that I know is going to help me not be injured, move better, and then from there we could push it, and by that time, like the ego has kind of drifted, but that's such a key thing, like no one wants to get shown up or look
Yeah.
like they can't keep up. So
Well, it's funny we mentioned ego. I was at a pistol training course, part of my 2025 plan that I got done in December. And there's a woman in there, and we were talking about ego and with guns, and she said in her cute little voice, your ego is not your amigo." And I thought, like, man, that's so true. All right, let's go to the second secret of the week that we're focusing on. That's number 5 from his book, Separating Truth from Fact. And one of the things Siebold says are facts are what actually happened objectively, and truth is a story we tell ourselves. And we talk a lot about stories. And most drift starts with unexamined truth. And so, Clint, I got the question for you is, um, where do you see this showing up, like either with yourself or with other guys, where maybe they're playing the wrong story or they're losing sight of the objective truth, what we call the gain, and they're focusing on the gap. But where's your head go when you think about separating that truth from those stories we make up about ourselves?
I'm thinking, um, first of all, I'm going to back up to the last one a little bit because you're really not. The truth is, and I guess this is be a mixed answer. The truth is, you're not ready for this. You're not ready for the training, no matter who you are. You think you are. And the great thing about this is, I've seen over the years, is everybody has their individual strengths. I may be strong at something, and somebody might have a thought about that, but the next guy who you wouldn't think is strong at something could probably outwalk me by miles and miles. You know what I mean? Whose knees are strong. So, um, I guess I'm getting off topic a little bit, but the story we tell ourselves is we probably think we're ready or we want to be as good as somebody else, but the truth is none of us are ready for this training. And if you're actually pushing yourself and getting better, it's gonna the truth is it's gonna hurt no matter what. And you need to get rid of your ego and just get better, you know?
Well, I think that's the opportunity is like, assume nobody's ready. Awesome.
Yeah.
What a great opportunity to go get ready. If you were ready, why the hell would you go do this thing? You know, if you can run 3 marathons, why would one marathon be your objective? You know, it's just,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
it's a, embrace that versus give you a reason not to do it, which is probably most guys' reaction is, I'm not ready, therefore I can't do it until I get ready. It's like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to join a gym until I get in shape.
Yeah,
It's like, yeah,
exactly.
it's just this ridiculous, weird
None of
story we tell
us
ourselves.
are ready for this every Wednesday. It sucks. It's hard. And the more you do it, the better you get, and you're gonna get better. So
Yeah.
Instead of having to grit through, going through it in like confidently knowing, if you follow our training program and you do the Wicked Wednesday workouts, you're going to go in confidence, knowing that no matter what gets thrown at you, the guys don't know what's coming. They're going to be ready. Because we've seen that in how many of the different seasons training up to this. It's just like the guys who do it, they come in with confidence. They're like, yeah, I got it, no problem.
yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's go to the last secret for this week. Secret number 4 from Siebold's book, emotional motivators. And there, where my head goes to is future self, strong purpose, strong identity. I'm an athlete. I'm raising my floor, reinventing. Those are emotions I like to tap into, because when you're doing these sucky workouts, it's your brain is just constantly telling you, you've done enough. This is stupid. You're gonna get hurt. Um, you're over 50. What the hell are you doing? I don't know. Yeah, there's all these thoughts, but Brock, what do you think about when you think about emotional motivators? How do you use them personally? What's the advice you give your clients?
hmm I tell them the truth right from the start of just like this first one's gonna suck, and you're probably gonna be in the toilet mentally, and just like. But what I can tell you is if you show up for the next one and put in the same amount of effort, second one's gonna suck a little bit less, and then by the time you get to the third or fourth one, you kind of have an idea of what is gonna come, both physically and mentally. You'll be stronger to be able to face them. And then, you hit weeks 5, 6, 7, 8 in this training progression or anything that you're training for. By that time, your body and your mind know what to expect, and it's just like it's really cool to see people just switch that in their mind. It's tangible viewing it.
So you just got to start. You just got to go. Forget about the time and the weight and how focus on things like form and I mean, I'm curious about you. Like, what do you do when you're doing a grinder type workout? Where's your head? Where do you have your head go?
I usually tack on just really small pieces. Like I'll have something like if it's certain amount of reps, I'm always looking at the clock and I'll see how long it takes me to do that at a 80% pace. Like I could push harder, but I'm not all the way to the floor. And I'm gonna try to hold myself to that if it's like rounds for time or something like that. Like I do that so that I'm not taking too much break, that I'm pushing appropriately but not too much, and it helps me kind of that's been an acquired taste, of just like knowing what your pace is. And so it's a familiarity that comes with just training in general. Like what you're capable of when you're doing something regularly. This isn't too much different than, push-ups aren't too much different than all the bench presses I've been doing, or ring rows are a little bit easier than pull-ups, or I don't know, squats are. I know how much I could goblet squats, so I'm doing a thruster, so I know how to I know kind of what to expect. And I'm just playing like those little mental games for me, and just like time basing them helps me keep the pace, and not think about like how bad this sucks.
Yeah. Clinton, you've done some bruiser workouts. Like what's going through your head just to kind of just stick with it and not give up?
Well, personally, there's a couple things. I want to talk about emotional motivators as it relates to this and Argent Alpha, and kind of what you asked Brock was, I think about what role I'm in. And so personally, I want to be in hero mode, right? I'm on the journey, I'm in hero mode, but I also look at it from the guide mode. Like, hey, I want everybody else or my teammates or my squad to know that I'm out here doing it. And if I'm out here doing it, then we all have that expectation. But specific to your question, Jag, in those grinder workouts, I don't know. I like to flip that switch. Like, how long are we going? I don't know, all day or as long as it takes. That's how long I'm going. How many squats am I doing? As many as you tell me to. Like, there's just no stop. For whatever reason, my mind kind of goes there. And not saying I can do it, but I like to think that I can, so.
I know you can. I've seen it. I've seen it. I love that. I mean, I think that I love. You're right. When you remember, and this takes practice, what role you're in, you'll go, shit. I'm complaining to myself. I'm being in the victim mode. Or
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
what's a hero do? It's really effective.
So our last,
what's that?
oh, sorry, our last event, you had to go and do some required work, and then when you finished it, you had to call in, and I was the guy on the other line taking the calls. And there were four different teams, I can't even remember, that would call in. A couple of them would be like, oh, yeah, we finished, but it wasn't pretty. And then you get Clint. I go, hey, Clint, how'd it go? Awesome. We crushed it. We want more. And I'm just like, okay, we could give you more every time. And he's not kidding. He did that. And I would think of more, and his group ended up doing quite a bit more than any other group. And it was largely because of his attitude that brought that. But it was just like, he's not lying.
Yeah.
I know. When I heard their numbers, I'm going, either you guys are just beasts or you don't know how to count very well. But I think it was the former.
It's not both.
One of the things I've used that helps, and I counsel a lot of guys on this, is picture you're done. Like, I like picturing the picture we're gonna take. I want my target set. So we were talking. I think it was Greek. He was going for he had 38 for hand release push-ups. And I said, put down 40 on there for your target. And he went out and did 40. So there's this sort of begin with the end in mind, self-fulfilling prophecy of telling yourself what you're going to do. Write it down. Don't just keep it in your head. Write it down. Imagine that scenario. And then as you get into it, I think Clint's advice of rely on the hero mode as you're executing whatever you did. But when you write it down and tell yourself what you're going to do, your odds of doing it just go through the roof. But if you go like, oh, I think I'll finish, maybe I'll finish, I hope I finish, those are not the way to accomplish it. I've done it already. I came out of it, loved it. It maybe hurt a little bit. I'm exhausted. I'm going to eat like a king tonight, replenish myself. But man, I did it. It was awesome. And it's funny how that as a technique for me really, and it helps me start too.
The perfect example with that is wall sits too. We all know that because we've gone through it, right? Oh, I'm going to see how long I can wall sit. And you guarantee a minute will kill you. But if you start going, I'm going to do 5 minutes or I'm doing 8 minutes, you see it in real time. So
we've seen so many guys where they're stuck at like 2 minutes, 2 minutes 30. And we say, well, have you decided to get to 6? And that kind of like blows their mind. Like, well, why don't you decide to get to 6 first? And then we'll give you a couple training tips on how to get there. And I remember one guy, his name was Terry, stuck, followed our advice, boom, passed 6.
Yeah.
I think he got to 8, So shows you like it's all, even get back to this, mental toughness. I mean, that was nothing about his legs got tripled their strength in a month,
Right.
He had it in him. It's like he unlocked the potential through his mind.
We had, running the standards that we do monthly, the monthly training standards, in leading guys through this, like having guys having no target, or like, I'm gonna do the best I can. Yeah. Okay, well, let me know what those results are, and then we would go around every single movement. There's 6 movements on our standards, classic standards. And I'd have guys call out what they got. 90+% of the time, when they called it out, they got it. because they had a target in mind. I mean, other than, it's just going to be the best I can get. Okay, well, what happens when it hurts? I'm going to stop.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
so true, man. It's like, Clint, I mean, you and I have done pretty long wall sits. Every time we get the 2-minute mark, our brain's telling us to just stop. It's like,
It's funny. I'm going to make a confession because I'm there right now. My wall sits are in the toilet right now. And I saw you posted something the other day on Slack. Hey, call Clint. I actually need somebody to call me. I need to do that to give me a reason to get back into it. So,
well, hey, if you know Clint Murray and have his mobile number, call him today, set up a wall sit challenge, and decide to get to five. Just go for five. Go for five.
yeah.
I remember I started doing wall sits during the 2020, during that the time that shall not be named, and that was I remember we were renting an apartment in Phoenix before we found our place down here. I remember this little wall. I'd sit there, and my knees almost hit the other wall. It was a really narrow space. I remember that space, and it was just like, I don't even know where I had ever heard of a wall sit at that time, because that was pre Argent Alpha, and it was just one of those things you just learn how much this impacts it. And I don't have any idea what my times were. I just know it was like, once you got over the suffer fest thing, just go, okay, this is a level of pain I can endure. And then you do. And then when you're done, you're like, the feeling of whatever your number is, beating it is pretty damn good.
It's almost like the ultimate challenge,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And plank's a similar thing, but
That and a plank.
for some reason, the wall sit is just more, I don't know. It does a trick. All right, so well, that's it for this week. We wanted to share with you guys just a little bit about our live events, how we train for them. I think the takeaway for anybody listening to this is, go put a date on the calendar. And if you say, well, I don't have an event, it's like, no, that doesn't matter. Put a date on the calendar, put it out there. Maybe it's Memorial Day. Get a date on the calendar, and then figure out your event and do it within 3 days. Set a time constraint on it. And it doesn't have to be go run a marathon or ultra marathon or do the Grand Canyon, but make it something meaningful and a little bit outside of your grasp today, and then figure out how you're going to get there. I mean, that's a quick and dirty. You'll change your life just by doing that, because you'll start thinking, well, how do I have to eat to achieve that? How do I have to train to achieve that? How do I have to recover to achieve that? How do I have to hydrate? What's my mindset got to be like? These are all core tenets of what we do at Argent Alpha. But you could do that right now. I mean, just go pick a day. We did that yesterday in our weekly RAD meeting. And it's funny, I think it was 12 out of the 16 guys on the call already had a date. They're all, which is great. The dogs are eating the dog food. That's like, we're all dogs. We're all eating our dog food and doing the work. So it wasn't surprising. And for the guys who didn't have a date, they went through and picked a date, and they're going to figure out what event they're going to attach on it, whether it's live, a Tough Mudder, Grand Canyon, biking. I mean, that part almost doesn't matter. It's the act of picking a date, making the commitment, and doing the work to achieve it. And
I have multiple people I train where it's like, I've been training them for a while, and they'll be like, won't have anything they're training for, and they're just kind of floundering, like one day they come in all fired up, the other day they're just like, yeah, I don't know, I'm just kind of here. Then all of a sudden they get something to train for, and you just see that shift in them. It creates a little bit of urgency, like all of the other things that you said. It's not just showing up and doing the work. It's how you eat. It's how you recover. It's like, okay, well, I have a little bit more reason to do mobility and stretch and it's just like, it ups the level of your game. So I feel like you should always have, maybe not always, but like a couple times throughout the year that you're training for something. I mean, that's again what makes these live events so great twice a year, is you have two things set in stone to be able to train for.
Well, it's funny. This ties into Viktor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning. I mean, it's funny that we're talking about here. When you have a meaning and a purpose and a why, you'll figure out the how. You just will. But if you don't have that, usually good things don't happen. Drift is what happens.
Yeah.
So anyway, if you want a little bit of science-backed explanation, if you haven't read Viktor Frankl's book, Man's Search for Meaning, man, what a must-read. What an awesome book. All right, guys. Well, thanks. Quick one this week. Have an awesome week. We'll see you guys next week.
Yep.
All right.
See you guys.
See you guys. Have a good one.